playground, we debate. Critics talking, we relate. Hot takes, no, we don't wait. Spit the truth, we captivate. Show me what you got, don't hesitate. Critics playground, it's our fate. Talk the talk, don't you be late. On the stage, we elevate. Voices loud, we dominate. Critics bow, they can dictate. Bust a move, don't.
Mass deportations and immigration policy, a critical debate on U.S. agriculture. Welcome to this episode of the Critics Playground Debate Review, where we examine one of the most pressing political issues of our time, mass deportations and their potential impact on the U.S. agricultural industry. In this discussion, we break down the challenges posed by President Trump's promise of large-scale deportations, the importance of immigrant labor to agriculture, and the consequences for the food supply chain. Will mass deportations lead to a stronger job market, or will they disrupt essential industries that rely on immigrant labor? Let's explore the complex intersection of immigration policy, economic stability, and labor needs. The immigrant workforce, backbone of U.S. agriculture. Immigrants make up 2/3 of the U.S. crop farm workforce, with 42% of these workers being undocumented. For industries such as agriculture, the labor provided by immigrants is critical, with many of these workers performing dangerous and physically demanding jobs. These workers often work long hours under harsh conditions, often with minimal pay and benefits, yet they are integral to maintaining the food production systems that feed millions across the nation. Team Pro-Deportation argues that mass deportations are essential for securing the nation's borders, ensuring that jobs are protected for U.S. citizens, and improving the overall stability of the labor market. They believe removing undocumented workers will incentivize the hiring of domestic labor and deter illegal immigration. By enforcing strict immigration laws, they argue, the U.S. would be able to reduce the number of illegal immigrants entering the workforce and address perceived job shortages that may disproportionately affect American citizens. Team Agricultural Advocates warns, however, that removing such a large portion of the workforce could have devastating consequences for agriculture. If undocumented immigrants are deported, labor shortages could severely disrupt food production and supply chains, particularly in industries like meatpacking, where more than 40% of labor comes from immigrants. Removing these workers could lead to crop losses, shortages of essential food items, and an increase in food prices, further exacerbating economic instability for low-income families. The loss of immigrant labor could also lead to higher costs for farmers and create labor voids in critical sectors of agriculture. The H-2A program, a viable solution or a stopgap. One proposed solution to replace the immigrant labor force is the H-2A Temporary Agricultural Worker Program, which allows agricultural employers to hire migrant labor on a temporary basis. However, it is not without limitations. Team H-2A supporters argues that expanding this program could help meet labor needs while keeping workers in the country legally. They suggest that this could be a sustainable solution for industries that rely on seasonal labor, such as agriculture, without the negative consequences of deportation. By streamlining and expanding the H-2A program, advocates believe that the government could address labor shortages while ensuring the safety and rights of migrant workers. Furthermore, the program could offer agricultural workers a clear legal pathway, ensuring they are protected under labor laws and preventing exploitation. On the other hand, Team Union Concerns cautions that increasing reliance on the H-2A program could have unintended effects, such as a decrease in wages and job stability for U.S. farm workers. Unions fear that the influx of temporary workers may create an unstable workforce and undercut wages for long-term, domestic agricultural workers. Critics argue that the program does not provide enough protection for workers, and it leaves them vulnerable to exploitation due to its temporary nature. The lack of year-round stability and the limitations on how long workers can remain in the country could also exacerbate issues of labor retention and worker satisfaction. Immigration and politics, a heated election issue. Immigration remains a key issue in the political landscape, heavily influencing President Trump's strategy in engaging his voter base. His stance on mass deportations appeals to those who feel that illegal immigration is a major threat to national security and the economy. For many supporters, deportation policies represent a necessary measure to restore law and order, reduce crime, and reclaim control over the nation's borders. Team Nationalist argues that enforcing stricter immigration laws and deporting undocumented workers is a necessary step in protecting American jobs, resources, and security. They see deportations as part of a broader effort to restore control over the nation's immigration policies and prevent further economic instability. By removing undocumented workers, they believe that American citizens will have more opportunities for jobs, and the government will be able to control the flow of workers into the country. However, Team Immigration Reformers believes that a more balanced approach is needed. They argue that the U.S. should create legal pathways for immigrants who contribute positively to society, offering a solution that allows immigrants to stay and work without undermining national security. Immigration reform advocates propose creating pathways for undocumented immigrants to apply for legal status, especially those who have been living and working in the U.S. for many years. They suggest that these workers are already integrated into American society and should be given the opportunity to continue contributing to the economy legally, rather than facing deportation. The role of unions: protecting workers' rights amid deportation threats. In response to the threat of mass deportations, organizations such as United Farm Workers are stepping up to educate immigrant workers on their rights and prepare for the worst-case scenario. These organizations are advocating for stronger worker protections to ensure that regardless of immigration status, all workers can access fair wages, safe working conditions, and legal rights under the law. Team Worker Rights emphasizes the importance of safeguarding immigrant workers from exploitation. They argue that even if deportations occur, it is crucial to ensure that workers understand their rights and have access to support systems to avoid being marginalized or mistreated. These organizations offer resources such as legal assistance, education on workers' rights, and ways to access healthcare, even for undocumented workers. They also call for stronger labor protections, particularly in industries that depend heavily on immigrant workers, to ensure fair treatment regardless of immigration status. Some unions are advocating for comprehensive immigration reform, which would include providing a pathway to citizenship for certain undocumented workers, thus allowing them to live and work legally in the U.S. without fear of deportation. Closing thoughts. The issue of mass deportations remains a contentious and politically charged debate. While some argue that deportation is necessary to protect American jobs and ensure national security, others warn of its devastating consequences for industries reliant on immigrant labor, particularly agriculture. The challenges posed by mass deportations extend beyond the workforce and into the broader economic and social fabric of the U.S. As we look to the future, it remains to be seen how this issue will be resolved. Will there be a shift toward more inclusive immigration policies, or will mass deportations continue to shape the landscape of U.S. labor markets? The outcome will have profound implications not just for immigration policy, but for the broader economy and the agriculture sector that feeds the nation. As debates over immigration policy continue, it is critical to consider the economic realities of labor shortages in agriculture and the impact on communities that depend on immigrant labor. The conversation is far from over. Share your thoughts, join the debate, and stay tuned for more in-depth discussions on Critic's Playground Debate Review.